A bizarre death case occurred in Philadelphia. A person fell from a great height, and the huge impact force caused the top of the delivery truck to cave in severely. The police arrived at the scene of the incident very quickly. However, the tallest building at the scene was only 2 stories high. It was impossible for someone to die on the spot by jumping from there, and it definitely wouldn't have caused the roof of the truck to be severely deformed. Soon, the police discovered new clues. Judging from the sloping ground and the flow of water, this wasn't the primary crime scene. They walked onto the street, and the detective looked towards a building not far away. He speculated that after the deceased fell from the building, he landed on the delivery truck below. The huge impact force combined with the slope of the ground made the truck slide to this place. In order to confirm his speculation, the detective went to the building for investigation. However, inside the building at this moment, a strange event was about to unfold. When 5 people were taking the elevator suddenly malfunctioned. After the security guard noticed the situation, he quickly called the maintenance worker to check it out. Strangely enough, the maintenance worker checked the wiring several times and found that everything was normal. So he pulled down the circuit breaker and was about to restart the elevator. As soon as the lights in the elevator went out, a scream was heard. It turned out that the guard took the opportunity to grope an old man's buttocks. Just as the guard was about to explain, the lights in the elevator started to flicker again. At this time, on the surveillance camera, the security guard actually saw a ghostly face. Then, another scream was heard, and a bright red wound appeared on a woman's back. This made the atmosphere in the elevator extremely tense, and the few people started to suspect each other. However, just then, the lights in the elevator flickered again. When the lights came back on, the mirror in the elevator had already been broken, and the salesman had died because a shard of glass had pierced his neck. Everyone was really shocked. The security guard, upon discovering the casualties, immediately called the police. The police officer who was investigating the falling case downstairs happened to receive this case. He rushed to the security room and initially judged that the salesman had been murdered by someone, and the murderer was one of the people in the elevator. Through the investigation of the deceased's identity, it was found that he was actually a fraudster. Many people had been deceived by him and gone bankrupt, and the person who had fallen from the building was one of them. At this time, the 4 people in the elevator began to suspect each other. The engineer suggested that they search each other to see if there were any suspicious items. Given the situation, I strongly suggest giving the woman a thorough body check. On the other side, the repairman, using a safety rope, was about to go down to manually restart the elevator when suddenly several pigeons flew out, and the safety rope began to come loose. The repairman fell to his death on the elevator like this. The police immediately informed the fire department and prepared to dismantle the elevator shaft to rescue the people inside. Just then, the lights in the elevator went out again. When they came back on, the old man had already been hanged to death by the wires. The remaining 3 people began to feel terrified, fearing that they would also die the next time the lights went out. The woman's identity had been investigated. She had blackmailed married men several times and now had married a wealthy man, hoping to obtain the right of inheritance. At the same time, the guard's identity was also revealed. He was a frequent visitor to prison. What's even more coincidental is that the guard's boss was the woman's husband. So the police made a bold speculation that perhaps the woman's husband had discovered her intentions and therefore hired the guard to kill her. The murderer must be the guard. At the same time, the lights in the elevator went out again. When they came back on, the most suspected guard had his neck snapped. There were only 2 living people left in the elevator. The engineer and the woman both knew clearly that the other was the murderer. They both picked up a shard of glass, ready to strike first, but the lights went out again. This time, the woman died. There was only the engineer left alive. But just then, the biggest plot twist in the movie occurred. Due to copyright reasons, we can only show it up to this point.